I haven't done a mycology video in a long time. I haven't even actually done any mycology in a good couple of years now. But recently been trying it out again, trying to revive an old strain and trying to get my eye back in. A friend invited us over for dinner the other day and he cooked lion's mane mushroom, and I just was reminded how much I absolutely love it. And there is actually a place in Berlin that sells it. There's a market stall. It's expensive stuff, and it would be amazing just to have it around all the time. It would be amazing to have my own supply of it. It's really tasty mushroom, and with all the like cognitive benefits and all that as well. It would just be amazing to have it around. So I thought I'd have a little practice again and see if I want to get into it. I used to do my mycology projects in a studio space, and I had a lot more room there. I was growing oyster mushroom and lion's mane mushroom and medicinal mushroom, and I enjoyed it a lot as a hobby. I think I started off with oyster mushroom after watching loads of videos. I went round to a bunch of different shops everywhere I could find oyster mushroom for sale, and I bought different types of oyster mushroom. They all looked pretty similar, to be fair, but I thought if I'm going to grow it, might as well find the best one I can. And brought it back to the office, and we cooked up 3 different types of oyster mushroom and tried them out, did a little taste test, and decided on the one I was going to grow. And then cut little pieces of it off, put them on Agar, and and it all grew well. Did a similar thing with medicinal mushroom, and then I wanted to try out lion's mane, so I couldn't find it in any stores at the time, so I bought some liquid culture, which arrived in the post in a syringe, and the admin woman that works at that office, she opened my post for me and found a syringe in an unmarked envelope. I don't know what she thought about that. And then actually, like a week or so later, her husband that was doing the cleaning at the studio, he walked into the studio, and I was doing some kind of mushroom experiment, and I had like scales out, and I was weighing out some gypsum, which is just like a white powder. And I was just like, oh God, what do these two think of me? Syringes in the post and weighing out white powder. And I had to I think I sent her one of my YouTube videos as an explanation of what was actually going on. Anyway, the first few experiments I did down at that studio had great results, and everything seemed really easy. And everything just kind of grew easy. I was interested in growing in buckets that I could reuse, and growing in doing the agar work in no-pour glass bottles, which I've done a video about on here actually. Then at some point, one of the buckets got a load of trichoderma contamination, the like green fuzzy stuff that grows on food sometimes. And like an idiot, I opened the bucket up, and there was just this little puff of green smoke that came off the trichoderma, and so then it was airborne, and then everything I tried after that, whether it was agar stuff in a still air box or grain spawn, or trying to go grain spawn to bulk, everything I did got contamination after that. The room I was doing it in was carpeted too, so there really wasn't a lot I could do about it. It was just in the room. It was everywhere, and yeah, it can be really disheartening when everything you're trying to do just goes contaminated. So yeah, it's obviously one of the big challenges of doing mushrooms is the contamination thing and the sterile environment, and somehow trying to not have contamination just ruin your whole plan. But yeah, there's a lot I really like about the hobby too. Hobby, I mean, it's not a hobby for some people, it's like a business, but you definitely meet a lot of interesting people that are into mycology. I was added to a Telegram group, and we've had a few meetups with other mycology people. We've been out foraging in the woods with people that like really know how to identify mushrooms, and so yeah, also love the kind of the sort of citizen science part of it. I love that there's a bunch of people trying to figure out how to do something which is a sort of high-tech lab science, trying to figure out how to do it in low-tech DIY ways with, still air boxes and there's like Uncle Ben's rice tech and stuff like that, and just using sort of household pressure cookers and ketchup pots and all kinds of stuff like that. And I feel like there's a lot of challenges that I don't think people have worked out all that well. And maybe I'm wrong, like link me if I'm wrong, but like I think, for example, that trying to do a small scale fruiting chamber that keeps high humidity but allows like good fresh air exchange it's not straightforward to do. You bring fresh air in, and that fresh air is probably going to be dry fresh air. It's not going to be 90% humidity air. So so I find that an interesting challenge, and just challenges of how to kind of avoid contamination and get good results, and challenges of not huge use of single-use plastics. And I think that the mushroom industry is really cool. It's really cool that it relies a lot on agricultural waste products. That's really awesome that we can turn inedible stuff into nutrient rich sources of protein and stuff like that. but it's quite rare to see like commercial scale farms that are doing it, that where it's not all in these mushroom bags, that they must just have loads and loads and loads of mushroom bags to throw away all the time. It's all just single use. I've seen a few videos of like farms that use like enoki mushrooms and stuff like that. They do them in reusable plastic bottles. Yeah, and there's people doing it in buckets and stuff like that. There is, like, it definitely is out there, but I think for the most part, the simplest way is just lots of plastic, and yeah, just feels like a bit of a shame if the technique relies so much on petrochemical plastics. But yeah, those challenges are what make it exciting, I think, as well. Anyway, I'm totally rambling here. I've got no idea if anyone wants to hear this sort of thing. But I was doing this still air box work that you're watching, and I thought, why not just have a little ramble over the top of it to explain where I'm at with mycology and the whole process. So leave me a comment if you've got this far in the video. And I hope it hasn't been too rambling.